Good evening and welcome to the Monday, July 13th, 2026 Marcellus Board of Education reorganizational meeting and regular board meeting. We'll call this meeting to order, and at this time, everyone who's able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First item this evening is 2.1, oath of office. This is the oath of office for new board members. So at this time, will Sean Edie, Peter Chapman, and Jessica Johnson recite the following oath in unison.
I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of New York, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education, Marcellus School District, according
to the best of my ability. That was
pretty good. That's pretty good.
I'll take it. Gonna take
The next item on the agenda is 3.1, election of president. At this time, I'd like to request nominations for the office of president of the Board of Education for the 2026-27 school year.
I would like to nominate Sean B. Second. You second, I don't know.
Not yet. Any additional nominations at this time? Okay, so we will go, I will call each board member's name out. And please respond with aye, nay, or abstention for the election or the nomination of Sean Edie as board president. Amy Bartolotta.
Aye.
Jennifer Tedesco.
Aye.
Sean Edie.
Abstain.
Peter Chapman.
Aye.
Erica Paquatic.
Aye.
Justin Pritchard.
Aye.
Jessica Johnson.
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Education elects Sean Edie to serve as president of the Board of Education for the 2026-2027 school year. I was supposed to read that first.
Okay.
Okay, item 4.1, oath of office. At this time, we will administer the oath of office to our newly elected president of the Board of Education, Sean Edie. Sean, will you please recite the following oath?
Me, myself, and I. I solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of president of the Marcellus Central School District according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
You're welcome to continue if you want.
And now.
Sean, Mr. Edie, I will now turn the meeting over to you.
At this time, I would like to take nominations for vice president of the school board.
I nominate Erica Paquatic.
Any others? Like the president, we will do a roll call vote, and I'll go through that. When your name is called. Amy Bartolotta. Jen Tedesco.
Aye.
Sean, I. Peter Chapman.
Aye.
Erica Paquatic.
Same.
Justin Pritchard.
Aye.
And Jessica Johnson.
Just to make it formal, Sean, I think we should read that resolve that the board elects.
Okay, so it is resolved that the Board of Education elects Erica Paquatic to serve as vice president for the 2026-2027 school year. Congratulations.
Should.
Moving on to oath of office for the vice president. Yeah, sorry, lost some words. Eric, I'll have you read you need to, you have it? Okay. Take the oath of office.
Solemnly swear that I support the Constitution of the United States and the state of New York, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of Vice President of Marcellus Central School District according to the best of my ability.
Great, congratulations.
Congratulations, Eric.
Eric, if you want to, you can officially take the seat of the vice president.
Moving on to 7.1, it is resolved that the Board of Education approves the following appointments for the 2026-2027 school year. You'll see the various positions listed there. And they're the appointed individuals. May I have a motion?
Motion made. Second, Jen.
Thank you. Are there any questions about any of those positions?
So the one thing that I do want to just sort of highlight, this is the typical reorganization meeting. So July 1st is every school district in New York State, that is really the beginning of their new year. And so every year by July 15th, school districts are required to designate all of these positions and who are in these positions. So what you see before you are all the same individuals that held those positions previously.
Thank you. May I have a motion? Or I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Nay? So carried. Moving on to 8.1, appointment of external auditor. Is resolved that the Board of Education appoints Grossman St. Amour, CPA, PLLC, external auditor for the 2026-2027 school year. May I have a motion?
Motion, Justin.
Second?
Second.
Erica. Okay, any questions about that before we go?
So just to give you a sense, Grossman St. Amour, they're a firm that we've been using for many years. Last year, you may remember, Tony put out what's called an RFP, a request for a proposal. And that's something you want to do every 5 years, just best practice to get a sense of what other firms are out there. Grossman St. Amour had done a great job, just again auditing and working with our team. In fact, they're in the midst of doing that now and will report out to the board in October. So we've been pleased with their service and hesitate to leave them at this juncture. So we're contracting with them another year.
How long did you say you've been with them?
As long as I think it's been at least 10 years that we've been with them.
Great.
And Don may know exactly, but
I don't have, not having been here that long,
yeah,
but
yeah.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moving on to 9.1, appointment of financial advisor. It is resolved that the Board of Education appoints Fiscal Advisors and Marketing Incorporated as the Marcellus Central School District's financial advisor for the 2026-2027 school year. I have a motion.
Amy. Second, Jen.
Any questions on that? That's the same, similar to,
Yes, yep, it's the same fiscal advisors that we've been using for several years. One of the things that is important about fiscal advisors, what they do for us, people may wonder, you know, we just purchased buses. And so what they do is they help advise us the best bonds that will give us the most bang for our buck. In addition to that, something just to be aware of, next year, we're gonna be starting to plan our next capital project. And so when you start that work, it's very important to be closely connected with your fiscal advisors in that planning process.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moving on to 10.1. It's resolved that the Board of Education approves the following appointments for the 2026-2027 school year. You can see there are a list of positions and affiliated staff for those positions. May I have a motion?
Jen.
Erica?
Second, Pete.
Thank you. Any questions on any of those positions? I think some of them, there was some just redistribution with Mr. Montgomery's.
We redistributed some of them, and so that not every one person was doing all of that. We sort of spread it out amongst the team. One of the things that's important just to know is we have to publish exactly, you know, who these individuals are who take care of these different roles for the district. And so it's the same across every school district in New York State. These roles are required to designate somebody and to publish who they are.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 11.1 designations. Resolved that the Board of Education approves the following designations for the 2026-2027 school year. And again, these are a list of our different financial banks. May I have a motion?
Jen?
Second, Amy.
Any questions on those?
Same thing, we're obligated to just explain to the public what banks we use, what newspaper, what's our official newspaper, in the, you know, state what our regular meetings are, which are per our calendar that is online. So all just, you know, typical things.
There's still a newspaper, like actual newspaper.
Well, it's online, and yeah, there is a published Syracuse, there is, yes. Yes, so we have to designate, because if we have to do any notices that we have to put in, that we have to specify what the paper is that we use.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moving on to 12.1 authorizations. Resolved that the Board of Education authorizes the following for the 2026-2027 school year. You can see a list of responsibilities in the individual. I have a motion.
Motion. Motion. Second.
Yes, thank you. Any questions on those?
So this is really for the administrative team who goes in to do observations. It's really intended by the state, it's required by the state, but it's intended to make sure that all your administrators are calibrated the same way. So someone's not going in and doing a teacher observation that's highly effective, and someone else seeing the same lesson would give it something less. So it really is a helpful professional development for our admin team, just so that we're all viewing instructional practices the same way.
That's for 13, right?
Say it again.
That was for the 13 certified lead evaluators.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
That was, no, here's.
Um,
Be on 12.1.
just for the authorizations.
Oh,
So it's okay.
yeah, I don't, but
I just
authorization.
want to make sure. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carry. And moving on to 13.1 is. Whereas the persons are considered as certified lead evaluators for the 2026-2027 school year as outlined in section 30-2.0 of the rules of the Board of Regents, having participated in the lead evaluator training provided by the OCM BOCES, which includes the required components: Jean Charlo, Brian Seavey, Julie Darmody Latham, Mike Free, Kathleen Mahoney, Stephanie Rice, Lauren Massa, Michael Dingman. Resolved, the Board of Education recognizes the above listed as certified lead evaluators for the standards-based educator evaluation and professional supports steps system. May I have a motion?
Motion, Amy?
Thank you, Amy.
Gotcha.
Second, Erica. Any questions based on what Jean was sharing on the certification? May all in favor? Opposed? 14.1 appointment of Committee on Special Education. Resolved that the Committee on Special Education for the 2026-2027 school year be appointed as follows in accordance with the provision of Education Law, Section 4402, to ensure timely evaluations and placement of students. And you'll see a list of members of that committee and their role. And a motion. Second,
Second, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, any questions on the committee or those positions similar? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 15.1, appointment of committee on preschool special education, CPSE. It's resolved that the committee on preschool special education for the 2026-2027 school year be appointed as follows in accordance with the provision of education law, section 4410, to implement the provisions of section 200.16 of the commissioner's regulations. And again, you'll see the list of people who will serve on the committee and their role. May I have a motion? Jen, then Erica? Any questions on that one? All in favor? Opposed? So carried. 16.1, appointment of subcommittees on special education. Resolved that the subcommittees are established for each school of the 2026-2027 school year to perform the function of the Committee on Special Education pursuant to the provision of education law, section 4402, except when a student is considered for initial placement in a special class outside of students' school of attendance, or a school primarily serving students with disabilities, or a school outside of the student's district. That's awful. May I have a motion?
Motion, Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
Second, Justin.
Justin, thank you. Any questions on that one? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 17.1, appointment of impartial hearing officer. Resolved that the superintendent of schools is authorized to appoint an impartial hearing officer for the 2026-2027 school year to maintain SED timelines. May I have a motion?
Motion, Jen.
Erica, thank you. Jen, any questions on that one?
So just for the public's benefit, just to understand, so at times, if there is a parent at, at a CSE who may disagree with the recommendation, it can go to a hearing, and so we have to just be able to designate whoever that impartial hearing officer is, and that's what their function would be, to listen to, what was recommended at the CSE, listen to the facts, and then make a ruling.
That is an external person involved, right?
Correct, yes.
May I have a motion? I mean, sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 18.1, bonding of personnel. Resolved that the Board of Education approves the following bonding for the 2026-2027 school year. You can see the bonds for the various positions. May I have a motion?
Motion, Jen. Second, Amy.
Thank you. Any questions on those?
This is really just a protection for those individuals and the roles that they hold. If there was ever anything that happened, they would be protected.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 19.1, consent agenda. It is resolved that the Board of Education approves the following the 2026-2027 school year. You can see that it's 19.11 all the way through 19.19. I have a motion.
Motion, Amy.
Second.
So I know you can go talk about the audit committee and the policy committee
Yes, yeah.
in facilities, right?
Yes, so if you recall, the board, the way that this board has functioned for the past several years. It's a committee of the whole for the audit, and essentially what that means is when Grossman St. Moore comes to do their report, the whole board hears it. Some school districts function differently. Some school districts have maybe 1 or 2, 3 board members on an audit committee. And they're doing that work separately away from the rest of the board, but come back to the board to report. Same thing with policy. There are school districts that have a policy, 2, 3 board members who work on those policies and then bring it back to the board and report. The way that we have functioned is a policy, a board, basically committee of the whole. And so really it's up to you if that's how you want to continue to function. The beauty of those two, both the audit committee and the policy committee, the, committee of the whole, is that no one's missing information. You all hear the information and it's not skewed or secondhand. You're hearing it all together as a whole board committee. So that's really the decision before you. Do you want to continue along that route? The facilities committee has been a little bit different. We have had board members, 1 or 2 or sometimes 3, that have served on the facilities committee, because those meetings are typically at 7:30 in the morning. And so certainly we're gonna need at least a couple board members to serve on the facilities committee. It's helpful. Just again, for our board to see, our board members to get a sense of the capital project that's gonna be, coming in the next year or 2.
Do we want to fill the facilities ones tonight?
Usually we take, requests.
Okay.
If somebody
So,
moves right now that they're interested.
Trying to remember.
I think you served on it and Jen you served on it.
Next year, and we still haven't been in the basement.
Oh my gosh, we got it. Don has got to get you.
Still haven't been in the basement.
You're not missing anything.
So I do,
Sure you
Eric,
will.
I think you mentioned just how, and Jen, I think you too, just how incredible, just sitting there with our architects and our engineers and listening to the building conditions survey, you really do get a big glimpse into what goes on behind the scenes when we're talking about facilities and the needs of the district to maintain the facilities.
And Ryan does not get enough credit. I mean,
Yes.
he does, but for what
Certainly,
that man has to do.
and the knowledge he holds
is
too.
insane, yeah.
So I think the first decision is, do you
Is-
want to continue with committee of the whole for audit and policy? That's probably the first decision. Anybody
Do we
have
have
an
any-
objection?
Any of us to staying, I guess, or to move away from that, because I think for those of us that have been on board at least for the last year, if not longer, I found it very helpful for all of us to be hearing it. We can all, if Justin has a question about something that I'm not thinking, it's good for others to hear those questions.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll stay with those two, and then for the facilities, is there anyone that's interested in serving? Are you guys interested in staying? Then we could have a couple more than just the 2, right?
Anybody that wants to be on it, absolutely. So Jen and Erica, I'll add you to that list. Anyone else? Okay.
Thank you.
And Don is gonna be setting those meetings ahead of time this summer, and so he'll send those invitations out this summer so that you know long ahead of time when those meetings will take place. We will, I think there were a couple last year. This year, we're gonna have to do more because again, we're starting to sort of plan for 27, 28 launching the capital project.
You say they're at 7:30 AM.
7:30 AM, yep.
Okay, any other questions about any of those other items? What am I looking for? All in favor? Sorry, opposed? Carried. 20.1, end of reorganizational meeting is resolved that the reorganizational meeting be adjourned and the regular board meeting, Board of Education meeting be convened. May I have a motion?
Second, Justin.
I don't think we'll have any questions on that. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, moving on to 20.1. Mr. Sherman.
Yeah, so just welcome aboard new board members, Pete Chapman and Jessica Johnson. Thank you for being here and for your service to the district. We are grateful, and welcome Monica Tomaichek. Monica is here tonight. She is our new student board member for the 26-27 school year. And Mr. Seavey goes on about Monica and how much she shows care for her fellow students. And I don't want to embarrass you, Monica, but just high regard for Monica, and just, again, her advocacy and care for her peers. And then I do want to just do a shout out and fasten your seatbelts, because I have just a long list of thank yous. We held our 133rd commencement ceremony on June 27th. And just some pictures just of the event. It was just nothing short of awesome. And just to give some shout outs, Brian Seavey for orchestrating really to perfection. All of us that get the Google document with just step by step, this is where you stand at this minute, this is where you stand next at this minute. Brian is a perfectionist. Enzo Samil, he played the piano and really just did a beautiful job as people entered the auditorium. We had rising members of our senior leadership team that were there helping with a myriad of different things. Raquel Becerra, who is Brian's administrative assistant, she is meticulous in everything that she does. So just a huge thank you to her and her attention to detail. Lori Updike did an amazing job with her meaningful address to the graduates. Rochelle Skatine read the graduates' names as they crossed the stage and did an extraordinary job with that. We had our honorary marshals, Nate Kaza, Tyler Cooper, Laura Coons, Andy Wiley. And then our school counselors, Heather Arcease, Katie Battaglia, Jen Baker, Eric Gercio, and Maura McEnany, who were on hand helping kids with anything and everything, their tassels, their, everything, their gowns, to make sure that they looked perfect. Janine Snyder is one of our special ed teachers, and she was there to help support our graduates. Adam Reiner, of course, who took care of all the technical needs for the ceremony. Ryan Riefler and his team for all the hard work, honestly, before the ceremony, during, and even after, and making the campus look beautiful and cleaning up afterwards. And then just our administrative team too, who were all on hand and just helping out in whatever way that they can. So just a huge success with our graduation ceremony. I do want to just give a plug too to the Community Garden Collaborative. And so I have one picture here. It's just been an incredible event. I was at the Marcellus Together meeting on Friday. And we had several community members who were at that Marcellus Together meeting who just raved about this Community Garden Collaborative. So just in case anybody's wondering, it's Monday mornings from 9 to 10 and then Thursday evenings from 6 to 7. So it has just been an incredible endeavor, and so appreciative to our ed teachers who really have lifted that. So Jenny Stratton, Caitlin Eaton, and Joe Killian, a huge shout out to them. So this past week, July 6th through July 10th, we had several students, 14 of them, who went to the National FCCLA Conference, so Family Careers and Community Leaders of America. It was in DC, and just a special congratulations. These were the top 10 national finishers here listed. And then some of our national competitors. And then just some pictures of the fun that they had. They were at the Capitol building. This is them ready to do their presentations. And then just the whole group. Just a great experience. Liz Milliken leads this group and said that she could not be prouder of the way that they projected and represented Marcellus schools. So huge shout out on a national level, Marcellus is getting recognized. And then I won't read through all of this, but it's funny. I know Brian has had this experience too, where people, I think people assume that administrators don't work over the summer, but we actually are working more than we would like. But truly, the summertime is our busiest time. If we want to start the year correctly and on the right footing, all of this planning takes place behind the scenes. So we are meeting frequently and just making sure that we're ready to start when school begins. Our first day back with staff is September 2nd, with the strange scheduling of Labor Day school for our teachers coming back is September 2nd. And so believe it or not, I am already working on planning for that opening day with staff, professional development, and then obviously beyond that, we're doing a ton of professional development for our teachers this summer as well. But these are all of the different things that we're tackling. And that's it.
Thank you. Moving on to 22.1 residents' comments. Public expression at the Board of Education meetings is encouraged, and a specific portion of the agenda shall provide for this privilege. In most instances, the board shall reserve judgment regarding questions and concerns that are brought to the board's attention at a board meeting, as it is typically not prudent for the board to make instantaneous decisions. In addition, many issues that are brought to the board's attention do not require a formal determination by the board, but instead are most appropriately addressed by the superintendent of schools or persons designated by the superintendent without further board action, in accordance with board policy 3220, community relations. Do we have any comments? Rowan. Okay. 23.1 school breakfast and lunch prices, 2026-2027. Resolved that the Board of Education approves the 2026-2027 school breakfast and lunch prices as follows. It is listed there by grade. And note that the rates are unchanged for the upcoming school year. I have a motion.
Motion, Pete.
Pete. Second? Erica? Any questions?
I think there was a note in your update, can't comment on what is the status of free lunches?
So free are gonna continue. And the reason that we have to set pricing is in case a student purchases a second lunch. So they'll get their first free, but if they wanted to purchase a second lunch, that's their purchasing. And so that's why those prices have to be set.
Do we have a lot of students across the district that tend to go for a second? We find, or I don't know if that's just.
I wouldn't be able to tell you that off the top of my head. I don't know if Don knows.
I wouldn't say a lot, no, but we do sell lunch. Some staff will buy lunch, so we have adult.
That's true. Thank you. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Appointment of legal counsel. Resolve that the Board of Education of the Board, the Marcellus Central School District. Hereby continues to retain the law firm of Bond, Shonak and King. For the 2026-2027 school year to provide legal services to the board and district in accordance with the terms of a fee agreement between the parties, and the board hereby approves, adopts, and ratifies the agreement effective as set forth therein. And be it further resolved that the board hereby authorizes the board president to grant permission to the superintendent to sign and thereby execute the agreement on behalf of the board, and district. The superintendent of schools has the option to consult with our legal counsel as deemed necessary as well. May I have a motion?
Second.
Any questions? That's been our firm.
For at least 10 years.
Yeah.
And honestly, that is helpful, the historical knowledge of
Yeah.
the firm, of, about the district and.
We've been really happy with their services.
Yes.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. 23.3 approval of counseling plan. It's resolved that the Board of Education approves the attached Marcellus Central School District counseling plan for the 2026-2027 school year. May I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Amy, thank you. And this is what the counseling team presented to the board at our last meeting.
Yeah.
Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 23.4 approval and adoption of employment agreement between Marcellus Central School District and Jean M. Charlo. It's Resolved that the Board of Education of the Marcellus Central School District hereby approves and adopts the employment agreement reflecting the terms and conditions of Jean M. Charlot's employment as a district superintendent of schools. And be it further resolved that the board authorizes its president to sign the employment agreement on the board's behalf. And be it further resolved that the district clerk is directed to maintain a copy of the employment agreement in a supplemental file to the minutes of this board meeting, and to maintain the signed original of the employment agreement in Ms. Charlot's personnel file. May I have a motion? Erica, thank you.
Second.
Justin? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Twenty-three point five, acceptance of gift to Marcellus Central School District. It is resolved that the Board of Education accepts a gift donation of $3,500 from the University of Rochester for the purpose of purchasing equipment for Mr. Sunheimer's new industrial electricity course. May I have a motion?
Second.
And this was the former student
Yes.
who nominated Mr. Sunheimer for this award,
Yes,
correct?
I think one of the last board meetings I highlighted Gabe Hope, who is a former Marcellus student, just graduated from the University of Rochester. And what the University of Rochester does is they put forward to their students graduating, what teacher impacted your life, right? Write an essay and submit it, and they select 4. So imagine all the graduates at the University of Rochester who are submitting these. And Gabe's was so poignant that Mark Sunheimer won the award. It's called the Singer Award. And with that comes that $3,500. So just an extraordinary testament to Mark Sunheimer and the work that he does with our students to just inspire a love of science and, just the desire to continue along that field. So thank you to Gabe.
Good for both of them. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. 24.1 personnel items. Resolved that the Board of Education approves the following personnel items. That is 24.1 all the way through to 24.11. Right? Yep. May I have a motion?
Yeah.
Second? There we go. Any questions on any of those? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moving on to 25.1 consent agenda. It is resolved that the consent agenda consisting of the following items be approved. You can see it's 25.1 through 25.5, my correction. May I have a motion?
Motion, Jeff.
Second?
Second.
Any questions on any of those items? I know, the overnight trips really kind of trying to get a jump start so they can get some good pricing. I know they're, especially the skiing one out in January.
Night trips, the board has to approve. And so, yep, they're doing it a little bit early just so that they can get all of the accommodations and really the best rates on lift tickets, hotels, etc. So that's why it's being put forward too. The one thing, I just want to highlight disposal of equipment and disposal of textbook materials. Some of the textbook materials are really outdated. So our school psychologist at KCH is looking to dispose of those. The disposal of equipment are some musical instruments that are really no longer functional. In fact, some of them can't even be auctioned. They're so not functional. However, I will say, Mr. Eady mentioned, have you ever considered using some of those instruments in ways to repurpose? And so I have actually been in contact with Mr. Riefler and what he's going to do before he actually sends them either to auction or disposal he's gonna put them forward to the art department and even our CTE department, if there is some innovative way that they can use those instruments. If not, we will move forward with the disposal, but it's a great idea.
Great. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Informational items, Mr. Sherman.
Yeah, so a couple things. Every year we partner with the Rotary and the Friends of Marcellus Park to do a new family picnic. And that is for anybody that is new to Marcellus. They moved in and their students or children are starting in September. So that is designated as Wednesday, September 2nd. We had a little challenge trying to find a date that didn't conflict with some other things going on that week. But as of right now, it's set for Wednesday, September 2nd. I usually partner with the Rotary to get all of those communications out, so we'll be starting that in the next week or two.
That usually like 5 o'clock.
Yeah, 5 to usually 7, yep. And then just to highlight again, I went to the Marcellus Marcellus Chamber of Commerce meeting on Friday. And Baltimore Woods is celebrating their 60 years, and so they're doing a fundraiser on July 18th. And then this next week, actually, July 25th, Marcellus Park is doing a 5K run for David's Refuge. And David's Refuge is a organization in Liverpool that is supporting kids with fragile medical conditions. And so that is really a fundraiser for them, and just put it out there in case anybody's interested, you like to run and you want to be part of it. The beauty is on Saturday, it is sort of the market in the village, so it's really a good time to go for a little run at Marcellus Park and end up in the village. So just a shout out for those organizations that support us too. And that's it for information.
Thank you. 27.1 adjournment. Resolved that the Board of Education meeting be adjourned. May I have a motion?
Person Amy.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Next job is to. The next meeting is the 24th of August.